Hello everyone and welcome to The Inner Shift. I'm your host Paayal. I'm a conscious counselor, an energy therapist and the founder of ACA. This is a space where we explore the unseen terrain of leadership, of healing and identity. And today's guest walks all of those with depth and with grace. Aaradhana Dalmia. She is a sociologist. She's an environmental entrepreneur. She's the chairperson of Young Fiki Ladies Organization, the Delhi chapter. She's the founder of Nature Cube, co-trustee of the Dalmia Charitable Trust. She's a powerful advocate for inner and outer sustainability. She's a mother of two, a highly family-oriented lady. She is an avid traveler and a highly spiritual person. This conversation is not only about strength and leadership, it's about leading from a place of inner quiet, inner stillness. So let me introduce you to Aaradhana Dalmia. Hi.
Hi Paayal, thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much for making time in your busy, you've seen the list, you're so busy, so thank you for making time for us. Thank you for making time for the Inner Shift to speak to all the people out there.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me here.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. You've recently taken over as chairperson of YFlow. And amongst all the other things, before that, I want you to tell me what is beneath all this. Who are you when you're not on?
So, YFlow, of course, has given me a really great platform to do a lot of very good work. So, I'm always grateful for that. But underneath all these roles, whether as leading an organization or even as a mother, a person who I am is just somebody who's very curious. I like to learn about the world around me. I want to know about things before I form an opinion about them or talk about things. So I'm just a curious person. I'm an avid learner, avid reader, and I like my peace and quiet. I like to just turn on the music, have my book, and just be lost in that world. And it's my endeavor also at some level that I can help everybody around me find that space for themselves in their daily lives.
Wow. I still don't know where you find that quiet right now, knowing what I do about how busy your life is, but that's lovely. Now, you live a life of service. You've committed your life to service. What do you recall as being, was it a specific incident? Was it an inner calling? What caused this inner shift?
So it was not a shift actually, it's something that I've been drawn to from a very young age. I remember at 17 when I was writing my college essay, and this was back when there were no college counselors, we were doing everything on our own. And we used to get the application by mail, so it was a physical application that you had to fill out. Even then I was writing about, an experience which really moved me and told me what I wanted to do. And at that time as well, I wrote about something that I observed when I had gone on a school trip to Rajasthan, and how that told me that, these are the people that I want to help. I want to do something to help them. It was a nomadic community that we had seen over there. So I think that sort of seed to do something that is beyond just myself was always there, and I was always finding a path towards it. So even when we had started Nature Cube, the idea was not just to run a business or to make money, but the idea was that how can we genuinely make an impact with the environment and with health. So I think it's always been there. It's just been taking different forms, and it's been maturing in how I've been sort of executing my absolute commitment to service.
Wow. And your family and everyone around you has always supported you. Do you have to fight any battles there? I like the laugh.
No, see, my family has always supported me, whether it was my parents or whether it's my husband, and now actually even my kids. I think they've always supported me. They've always seen a lot of inner strength in me and ability to do a lot of big work. It's actually I think me who stopped myself very often. So I think they are also happy when they see me take on such roles, take on projects, and yeah, definitely they've always supported me, and they have much more faith in me than sometimes even I have, honestly.
Okay. I mean, you're someone I've known to have this quiet strength. You operate from a point of very quiet strength. Where do you find that strength?
So again, I think it comes from the fact that I can spend time on my own, without any noise
Very
around me.
important, yes.
And I try to do that every single day, even if I'm busy. I try to keep that time to myself, whether it's in the morning or it's at night, and just think, read, do some work. And I think that gives me strength, because I'm not afraid to be alone. I'm not afraid that I can just be in a room by myself for couple of hours, do something. I don't need to look at the phone. I don't need to be worried constantly if someone's messaged, if someone's called. And it's extremely difficult. Even for me, it's extremely difficult, because there's so many distractions around us. But I think that's what gives me strength, that even if all this goes away, that I still have whatever I carry.
You still
within
have yourself.
Me. Yeah, whatever I carry within me, I still have that. So I think that's where that quiet strength that you identify comes from. Sometimes, of course, it could be that I'm a little bit afraid also, and it shows like that. But yeah, I think it comes a lot from just the ability to be with yourself.
You don't realize what an important thing you've said. I think one of the most empowering things is if you have the ability to be with yourself.
Yeah.
And absolute kudos to you for even accepting that there could be times where you were afraid, but you have dealt with it, you've worked in it, and you've overcome it. So, wow, that's really amazing.
No, but it's important to admit these things, because everybody is a human, and everybody is prone to making errors. That's what human life is about. That we'll make an error, we'll hopefully learn from it, we'll move on. So I think sort of trying to put this image out there that things are perfect is just, in today's day and age, it makes no sense.
It's just the image. It's just the image, and not much substance behind it.
Yeah, because and I don't think most people understand that nobody is perfect. Nobody has absolutely 100% days. It's always like up and down, and that's fine. Like that's what life is supposed to be also. And if you can reach a stage where absolutely nothing affects you, then I mean that's just nirvana then. So that's
Really
amazing. I mean, hopefully everyone's on a path to that journey. But yeah,
the ability to be human, the ability to accept that it's okay not to be okay. Wonderful. Brings me to my next question. As chairperson of Viflow Delhi, you're leading a cachet of very, you're in a very powerful position, right? You're supporting a powerful network of young women today. What is your message to them, emotionally, mentally, or as a mentor? What is your message to them?
I think my biggest message to them is don't lose yourself, because the age group that we have at Viflow are mostly women between 30 to 40 years. Now, in that age group, what happens to women is that there's a big shift in their lives, in terms of both their personal lives and professional lives. And very often, they kind of forget in that juncture to continue their journey of nurturing themselves, whether it's intellectual nurturing, whether it's nurturing their soul, their emotions, their bodies, because a lot of them are having kids at that time, or they're getting married, and even in their professional careers, things begin to get much more hectic in your 30s versus your 20s. So I think my biggest mission this year is to just tell women that hold on to who you are, nurture yourself, nurture every part of yourself, because only when you thrive will the people around you thrive in any role that you take up. So because I've seen myself go through this cycle, so I know it's real. I know everybody goes through it. So I just want to tell them that we are here to support that learning journey, so that you don't lose yourself. You keep sort of nurturing yourself.
Enjoy the journey, sort of, right?
Yeah, no, more than enjoy the journey, like nurture yourself. Don't forget that there could be any part of you that you or were curious about or you wanted to learn about. Like, don't give that up completely. You need things in your life which are sometimes just about you also, and
Right.
it's important to not lose that.
What does it mean to you emotionally to be in this place or this position where you have so many people looking up to you?
So I don't see it as a position in which people look up to me. I see it more like how can I facilitate this journey of learning for them, this journey of thriving, of building great things for them, and of actually following your dreams. So I see my role more as a facilitator, and who can understand that this is what my community needs and how can I give them access to it. For me, emotionally, I think I've been a part of YFlow for a long time, and I'm very happy that I've taken this role on now and not earlier in my journey in YFlow, because it's given me a lot of insight into the organization, and I've come to this role with a lot of thought, with a lot of deep dive into what the life of an average member is. And emotionally, it is difficult sometimes, because it's an additional role that I've taken up apart from everything else that I'm doing in my life. So some days are a little challenging in terms of managing time, in terms of emotionally being available for YFlow, for my kids, for my other work. But I think it's a amazing journey. Like, I feel like I'm doing so much, I'm able to achieve so much, and I think it's important for women to take leadership roles in organizations, in companies. Don't shy away from it. Cultivate a village around you that can help you when you have that role. But I think it's very important, because you just discover so much about you discover so much about abilities that you didn't even know you had. So I would encourage everybody, to take on some leadership role somewhere in their life.
What pressures do you think you face, or have you faced, being a woman in leadership? You've spoken about taking that leadership role, but we know how difficult it is. There is a gender bias. Women are not, very often given leadership roles. I mean, we have some, but they're fewer. It's more exceptions to the rule. So what do you think you have faced?
So in terms of bias, I think in India still, and especially from families in many communities, there's still definitely, even if they're very supporting and helpful, but there is a certain bias about what kind of a role you will play in the family versus, say, what role your husband or your brother will play. I think that's still very prominent. It hasn't gone away. It's improved, but it hasn't gone away. Maybe it will take another couple of generations. So I think being a little bit upfront about the fact that something is not okay with me, and having very frank conversations with your partner, that what is each of our roles in this family, and how do we see it, how do we help each other fulfill our goals, and not sort of just keep adding to one person's responsibilities. I think that has really helped. So even at the beginning of my journey with YFlow, we sat down, we had a conversation that, okay, this year is going to be a lot coming at us. So how do we, redivide what responsibilities we have towards our children, our families, other things that we do together. And I think that's very important, to sit down and have these concrete conversations and not assume and, just think that, everything will be okay. Because it's also our responsibility to,
Absolutely.
make sure that these conversations are happening. And only then can, everybody sort of settle into whatever responsibility they've taken up. But overall, I think there is still a lot of gender bias also externally, because the moment we are talking to people in the government, the moment we are talking to people at corporates, etc., there's a lot of questions about gaps in your resume. There are questions about, oh, but your husband is this person or your father is this person, so why do you need support from us? Things like that. And I've never understood this question because I'm the chairperson of this organization on my own. It's not because of my husband or because of my father.
Absolutely.
So why bring them into the equation? So definitely there are subtle biases sometimes, but I think overall we've come a long way. I mean, from whatever I've seen much earlier in my career or when I was a young girl, I think we've come a long, long way. But yeah, still some room to go, and hopefully with the next generation that will also close that gap.
Does it get overwhelming at times?
Yes, definitely it does, but I think the mental switch that I've made is that I want to enjoy this journey. I want to make the most of it, and I think the most important thing is to love your Google Calendar, to delegate as much as you can, and thankfully I have a brilliant committee that supports me. And on days it gets overwhelming, yeah, I think it's just important to like switch off, do something which is just going to be fun and make you happy, and then kind of dive back in. But yeah, I think if you're just really planned and organized, things can run much more smoothly.
So do you have a kind of a daily practice or something you go to kind of just find yourself in all this noise?
Yes, I've been doing a few things in the last 6 months, which I think I've really enjoyed. One is just listening to some music that I find very soothing, very comforting. So I just put that on every day. I go to drop my kids to school, and on the way back I just put it on. So I think that just helps to center, calm. And then sometimes in the middle of the day, I'm not able to do it every day, but once in a while, there's this place of worship. I just go and sit there for 10 minutes, and it's close by to my home, so it's convenient. And that's it, just observe. I don't do anything there, I just sit there and just come back.
Find your moment of calm and
Yeah,
stillness.
so I think these things, little things just help, and so that's why I think it's important to find those individual practices or individual moments that you can just share with yourself and with something, and just recenter and recharge.
Absolutely. I cannot say this enough, and I cannot emphasize this enough, that wellness today is no longer a luxury, right? It has become a necessity. Mental health, wellness. You're someone I know who was highly spiritual, who followed a lot of practices. We've done a lot of work together. How do you plan to integrate mental health awareness and wellness into your year as chairperson at YFlow?
See, we definitely have a plan to focus a lot on women's health, and women's health not just in bits and pieces, but try to talk to women about their entire life cycle of their menstrual health. So from the time that girls begin to get their period right up till menopause and beyond, that what is this cycle, what are different stages, how can we start managing our health better. So just in terms of physiological health, we are doing a lot of things related to that, and in terms of mental health also, we are exploring opportunities of how we can focus on specific aspects of mental health that are not addressed maybe so easily. Like relationships is one big thing that we felt that there's still not a lot of conversations about relationships, and it's something that people struggle with, not just relationships with your partners, but just with anybody. It could be with a friend, it could be with a family. So just exploring a little bit about what are relationships, what are the ways in which we can nurture relationships rather than kind of always be in a conflict situation. Then of course there's a lot about handling pressures, because women are constantly juggling so many roles and doing things. So handling stress, handling pressure, how do you sort of create practices around that, and maybe what are some warning signs that you actually need to get help maybe externally. So these are some buckets that we are exploring this year, and as we proceed, our members will get to see the programming around it.
Great, wonderful. Now, you've championed environmental sustainability, inner sustainability, right? How important do you think is to be sustainable, not only in terms of the impact on the environment, but also regulating yourself?
The environment piece for me started about 10, 11 years ago now. When I was doing my research, actually, for my research work, and it was around rivers and cities, and I was visibly seeing a lot of the environmental degradation that was happening. So it started as a result of that. And the thing that I noticed is that going to these spaces where I was seeing this degradation much more visibly and in a much more drastic way, it was having an effect on my senses. Like, certain smells would just linger and linger and linger, certain sounds. So I really felt that there needs to be, again, some inner cleansing also for me to just get that out of my system.
Sensory overload kind of a thing.
That's also when I started my spiritual journey. And I was fortunate that time to meet people who could guide me on that spiritual journey. So I think inner and outer sustainability, I think, kind of go hand in hand, and it's important for us to start seeing them together. And because only then will we if we have this inner peace, if we work on that, then we can also notice certain things in nature that we want to preserve, I feel. But if there's just a lot of rush going on inside us, we'll often miss the beauty that we're surrounded by, and maybe not think that why is it important to preserve this.
That's where the cliche comes, not cliche but the metaphor, stop and smell the roses.
Yeah.
Stop to smell the roses.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. If we don't have a moment to even appreciate the beauty around us, then why will we even think about conserving it? So as parents, for instance, it's been very important for my husband and me since the time my kids were babies to just leave them out in nature, like bare feet on the garden, crawling in the garden, just exploring nature, exploring farms. Because if they don't love it, then how will they appreciate it? Why will they want to protect it, right?
Absolutely.
So, and I feel that they are also much calmer when they are around nature because they're so comfortable in that environment. And I think all kids are.
All kids are, exactly. I mean, even in, as a healer, we always say grounding is walking barefoot on the ground. Connect to nature, connect to earth, connect to ground. So you're not one of those mothers who would freak if your kid picked up the matti and ate it like we all did when we were kids.
No, my kids have definitely done it, and from the moment they started moving, we would just put them on the grass, let them dig matti, pick up things, all of that.
New moms, please listen. Stop being so hyper.
No, I think mums are also changing, but they realize the value of those old school things and the value of just making connections. I think if the kids are don't have a connection with nature, why will they want to protect it, right?
Very true.
The more we are kind of removing ourselves away from nature and living in sort of a silo or a bubble, the less we worry about everything that's coming out of our house. Where is it going?
Where is it going? Yeah, exactly.
So,
and I think also the mindset that it's not just meets everyone, so how can only I make a difference? I think that is a very important thing for people to realize, that it all begins with that one person.
Yeah, I think we don't live in an age where we need to follow things in theories like herds. We can choose that this makes sense to me, this works in my life, so I'll practice this, it's fine. I think slowly that era is going away where people are just following things just for the heck of it. So yeah.
Tell me a little about Nature Cube.
So Nature Cube was born, I think now 11 years ago. So it was a very funny story because this friend who I didn't know very well, Vedika and me, we met a couple of times at various social engagements, and we would always talk to each other a lot about environment, about the problem of waste in India and how we should do something about it. And slowly that conversation started building up, and it was something that both of us were excited by, and we decided that, okay, let's see what are the ways in which we can be part of this. We can do something that will work, that, maybe will benefit. And we did a lot of studying, we did a lot of research around it, and came up with a couple of things. One was biodegradable packaging, which at that time in India no one had heard about. So we were literally going from corporate to corporate, educating people that switch to this alternative. But because that time there was no policy directive from the government, people were not yet buying it. And the other thing we were doing was small zero waste solution projects. So we were actually running a few in small municipalities in Punjab, etc. So it was a very exciting journey. And we put it on pause, but let's see, hopefully maybe we can do something again once my Bifur journey is over.
Yeah, if, once you find time again.
Yeah.
Let's talk about rest. Okay, in a world that glorifies hustle, which is always running, how do you make that time for rest? You've spoken about how important you feel pauses are. How do you make time?
See, I think hustle is important. I don't think hustle is bad. Hustle is good because hustle keeps us a little bit on our toes. So, how I define hustle is that, if you want to achieve something, you've got to put in the hard work. It's not going to come easy, or you're not going to achieve it. So the hustle is definitely important. But yeah, like when people say like, is hustle necessary? Maybe making sure that the hustle that you're doing is actually contributing to achieving your vision is important. Don't make hustle sound like, oh, I'm just busy, and you're actually all over the place. You're doing 100 things, but it's not actually leading to somewhere. So I think it's important to be little bit organized in your life, so you don't feel like, oh, it's just a hustle. But hustle is necessary. Without hustle, no one is achieving anything. And that's why rest is also important, because only when you hustle and have that little times of rest, that you'll be able to sustain yourself. But there will be times in your life, when you're in your teens, when you're in your 20s, that you can run on less sleep and it's fine. But I'm almost 40 now, so I think for me, definitely hustle rest is the way to go. But without hustling, I don't think anything is going to happen. And you need to pair it with rest also. So usually my thing is like on Sundays, keep it a very light load. Just keep it a day of rest, and not just for me, but for the whole family. Again, like find those moments in the day when you need to pause. You need to, just do something that helps you reset and turn off the switches and then turn them on. So I think that's important to build that practice.
As I said when I was introducing you, I know you were an avid traveler. I know that's something your husband and you really enjoy doing. Is that on hold as well for this year?
A little bit, yes. It is on hold a little bit, but it's something we do really enjoy doing. And for us, when we travel also, it's very immersive, because we are fond of trekking, we're fond of a lot of adventure activities, we're fond of road trips. So even when we're traveling, it's honestly pretty hectic. Thanks to my husband mostly, because he feels like if we spend the day in a spa or like shopping, it's a complete waste of the trip. And at some level, I probably agree with him, because I always I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So travel is, I think, we're really privileged that we're able to travel the way we are today. And the world is just becoming more and more accessible, so many parts of the world. And again, I think it can be a great moment for learning, for bonding, for just self-discovery also. So we try to sort of explore different places. We try to explore a lot of places that have natural regions, either forests, mountains, or seas. So yeah, I think it's a great privilege to be able to travel, and we try to take most opportunities to do so.
So you're great connection to nature.
Yes,
great connection with nature.
Absolutely. And for that, actually, I have to give credit to my partner, because it was not something I would do, at least not consciously, till I met him. I would enjoy, traveling to mountains or to beaches, but I didn't sort of do it so consciously. But ever since we've been together, we've done it much more often, and I've enjoyed it a lot more after I've started traveling with him to the forests or doing treks, which is something I never did previously.
So clearly a woman who leads by example. She spoke about bringing in the importance of relationships during her year as the chairperson, and she definitely follows it very, very truly to the T. That's really lovely. Advice as a parent.
Advice as a parent is that don't plan your children's life and future, because they will constantly surprise you. So yeah, just enter parenthood with an open heart and an open mind, because you have to remember that your children are also individuals, and they will have little bits of you, but they will also have their personality. And I think our role is now more like a nurturer, but also like a coach. I don't think we can anymore sort of be like our parents, that more disciplinarian.
Not at all.
There's room for discipline also. That's why I like to use the word coach, because a coach will hold you on the rules, will hold you on the practice, the hard work, the discipline, but also the coach is rooting for you, right? So they want you to be your best self. And yeah, I think so with parenting, just have an open mind and an open heart, and have no fixed preconceived notions.
I think as a parent, that's the most difficult. No, you want to make the mistakes for them so that they don't make them. You want to, protect them. But as you said, I think times are really changing. So be the guide, be the coach, show them the ropes, but the journey is there. They have to, it's their journey, so they have to walk that path.
And it's very difficult. I mean, I struggle with this so much, because I constantly feel like, oh, am I projecting my own dreams and goals on my children? Is it this something that they really want? And it's really tough, and especially in the society that we live in India, because we've grown up in such a high pressure environment that we have to perform academically, we have to be good at everything. So as a parent, that comes naturally to us. So I remember one of the first conversations I had with my kids' school was like, oh, why do you never tell me anything about his academic performance or stuff like that? And they were just like, but at this age it's not important. It's more important that his social, emotional well-being is taken care of. And I was like, what's that? Like, why is it important for my kid? He's fine. But no, I mean, that's so that's what I think it's important to keep unlearning, relearning, and also establish a set of rules as a parent.
Lovely. Now, as we bring end this conversation, or come closer to the end of this conversation, what would you say to young women who are constantly chasing success, constantly chasing something, and forgetting themselves in the process?
See, I think it's there's no harm chasing success, but it's not going to come overnight. I mean, I still don't think that I'm a successful person, because I don't think I've built anything entirely by myself. A lot of good opportunities have come along my journey, and I've taken some, not taken some. But I think there's no harm in chasing success, but I think what happens with social media is that a lot of us are victim to this idea that it'll happen very soon. And I don't think it happens very soon for 99% of the people. So just to remember that it will come, but every day we have to put in the hard work, we have to stay the course, we have to do what needs to be done. We have to also take care of ourselves in the meantime, and the success will come. So that's the only advice I would like to give.
So hang in there, work hard, walk the path, discipline, Google Calendar.
Yeah. And your definition of success will also keep changing. There's no one definition. So make your own definition of success and see what works for you. But yeah, definitely have goals, have ambition. I mean, without that, why would you step out of your house every day and do anything? So definitely chase your version of success, but it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen immediately.
Wonderful. Now we're going to play a little rapid fire round with you.
Sure.
That's what we do here at the Inner Shift. So whatever comes, just quick 3 questions. Yeah. A daily ritual that makes you feel grounded.
I think just waking up and seeing my kids, just spending some time with them in the morning, it instantly grounds me, because everything that I might have been thinking, I'm like, okay, this is one reality that I live with. So I think that's the most instant grounding thing in the morning.
Lovely. A book, a quote, or an idea that changed your relationship with purpose.
So there's this very obscure book which most people have not heard about. It's written by the famous author Michael Ondaatje. It's called Anil's Ghost. It's about this anthropologist in Sri Lanka and her sort of journey and discovery about just life and work and everything. And I don't know, that book, when I read it when I think I was in university, it really moved me. And I think it was also one of those moments when I kind of had an understanding of what is it that I want to do in my life.
Wow, I have to get that book. Okay, so complete this sentence. A woman who pauses is.
A woman who pauses is, well, I mean, definitely a woman, because most men don't have the ability to pause. A woman can do that. I mean, honestly, when I look at a lot of my male friends or colleagues, they just don't understand the point of it or the need for it. They've not reached there only. At least women know that there are times in your life when you might need to take a pause, and it's okay. You can do it and you can restart. It might not be 100% easy, but yeah, I mean, a woman who pauses is just a very normal woman, because in a woman's life you do so many things, so it's okay to take some pauses. But yeah, I think it should be her choice as to when, how long, etc. But men, I think, don't even have this notion, and they don't even think about it. So.
Trust me, that's not the answer. I mean, I could never have imagined such an answer. Thank you, Aaradhana. Thank you so much for your honesty, for your wisdom, and for that stillness you bring in this crazy, crazy world. And I'm sure YFlow is going to have a wonderful year with you leading it, because I truly, truly believe that you are a person who has that quiet strength that I've spoken about. That's what you exude. That's what I feel is your USP. You know, someone looking at you, someone who knows you, doesn't think that there is so much of strength and resilience inside you on the face of it, once they get to know you, of course.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for being at the Inner Shift.
Yeah, thank you so much.
For those listening, your inner ecology matters. If this episode opened something inside you, if it just resonated with you at any level, pass it on to someone you know, someone you admire, or someone you feel needs to hear this. Until the next time, I'm Paayal Lal, and this has been The Inner Shift. You can follow us on Instagram at Eka by Paayal. You can write to us at info@ekabypaayal.com. Take a breath, tune in, and shift within.